Well, the West Virginia Mountaineers lose another game versus Texas Tech in a game that you probably shouldn't have lost if your stars show up. It's unfortunate, man. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host here. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia, where we're in the post game here of Texas Tech versus West Virginia, a game that you really couldn't afford to lose, that you were at home, and you did lose, and you were at home, and here we are. So it's unfortunate. I don't have, I'm very frustrated with this performance, to be honest with you. You thought West Virginia would come out and play a little better this game at home after, multiple, 13-0 at home. You finally you drop your second straight now, and so there's a lot going on there. Let's talk about the sponsor first. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Mazda. And right now with Mazda, we put that same drive into every detail because wins define the moment. Putting in that work that defines you. Stay tuned in highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward, where there's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, guys, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We're talking about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Obviously, this is a game you had to have. Not many chances left on the schedule to make an impact, and you find yourself in a game where you played well enough defensively for the most part. You had all the help you could possibly want from supporting cast. Chance Moore, Jasper Floyd, Harlan Obioha, Brennan Lorient. But Honor Hupp and Trey Eaglestaff lay another egg. And I don't know what else to say about it except that this team continues to disappear in moments where you would think that they should probably be at the very least, competitive, right? And they don't, and they're not doing it. I wish that I could say, that this team won because they were the worst team. I guess that's the case, but it almost feels like the reverse has begun to happen. Now all the supporting cast is starting to play well. And maybe that's because by design, right? I mean, it is by design. I know that. Texas Tech forced West Virginia's role players to beat them, and that was good coaching. But I just am at a loss for words at the performance of, especially, Eaglestaff today. It's like, man, what are you going to get from him now from game to game? Jekyll and Hyde, right? It's really hard to watch. Part of me wonders what Jaden Forsyth could do. I'm being dead serious, man. There's a reason he must not be playing. I get that, but it's really, it's hard to believe that. I mean, Trey Eaglestaff fell down on defense twice today, and allowed a 3, and then Atwell, he left him alone. How many times did he leave him alone? I'm in a loss for words, really. I thought this team would perform a little better today. I picked us to win the game. Even I know that sounds crazy at this point, but you were in this game. If you got anything, literally anything from your stars, you would have won this game. Christian Anderson came back, and I thought he was really impactful for Texas Tech early on. I really did. I thought he was really good, especially in the first half where he was just assist where no low look passes. He was making really tough shots. Like I could see why he's the guy that averages 20 points a game for sure. He didn't look like he was all the way back for them yet, but certainly for the most part back. Yeah, I have a few thoughts because I think a lot of people are questioning the philosophy of Ross Hodge. I saw that on social media a lot today. Holding it till late in the clock. I get that. I do get that. And a lot of the way that West Virginia plays defense forces other teams to have to shoot threes because you pack the paint so hard. And if you face a team like Texas Tech that has a bunch of shooters, it can be difficult. I get that too. I'm not saying that, I'm not going to say that his philosophy doesn't work necessarily, but I do think there are games where it hurts us because we don't have every piece we need to play this defense, and we don't have every piece we need to play the offense that he wants to play, which is a more efficient style. You take less shots, but you take efficient shots, and et cetera. Obviously we don't have the bigs to do it, and that's the biggest thing is we don't have the bigs. We don't have any stretch bigs, and so like if you look at the game today, the disparity between our bigs and their bigs is pretty big. But this came down to they made shots and we didn't. I think they had 8 first half threes. I mean, there's just when you make 2 threes in the whole game and they make 8 in the first half, that's it's going to be really tough. I mean, you got within 5 points, and I thought you could make a run at them, but we didn't. And so, if you were going to turn into an upper Big 12, like in the top 8, you're going to have to protect your home floor. You're going to have to beat a ranked opponent. You're going to have to beat a team that's got a known, shooting profile like Texas Tech that has a really good shooting profile. The scouting report's pretty clear on what they do. They throw it inside and they shoot a bunch of threes, and that's what they did. Texas Tech didn't surprise West Virginia. They just executed better. That's what it came down to. Our starting 5 was, Floyd, Huff, Eaglestaff, Lorient, and Obioha. And I'll give Obioha credit, man. He played well again versus Texas Tech. He did it as well at UNC Wilmington. So he had confidence coming into this game. Brendan Lorient had a great game. So like I'm glad it came from him. But why can't we get good performances from everybody in one game this year? It's just really stressful to watch this team week in and week out just struggle over and over again to score. And then it seemed, it really does seem like teams can't miss versus us. And at this point, it's not every team's on the, having their best game versus us. It's the way we defend causes other teams to shoot better for whatever reason. I don't know exactly why. I can't explain why it is. There's a reason for it. Mostly because we pack the paint and that's what we do. But it's also like, I don't think we have the wing defenders to defend the 3 well, and that's it. Like Trey Eaglestaff is getting a lot out of his body as far as defensively this year at times. Like he's been really good at times. In a game like this where you're having to guard guys like he was guarding Christian Anderson on some possessions. He was guarding LaJuan Watts on some possessions. And he's not really capable of guarding either one of those guys. LaJuan Watts is a 4 that's going to absolutely bulldoze you. And Christian Anderson is a point guard or shooting guard at times that is absolutely going to put you in knots. And then he was on Atwell at times, and Atwell is a 3-and-D guy that let's just be honest, man, absolutely cooked Staff today. And I just don't know where he fits in on this team sometimes. I really don't. There are some games where I'm so glad that we have him. But for the most part, if I could trade away having him, I would. And I know that probably makes certain people mad. But it's not just his fault. But man, today was a bad step performance that, I would love to see what his plus minus was today because he couldn't have had a great performance. There's no way. He was bad on defense and on offense. Like there are some games where other people will bash him for being bad on offense, but I see the defensive effort. Today was not one of those days. Like he played so bad. I don't know how you can justify not playing Forsyth. I really don't. Like, I don't care what people say, if he's supposed to redshirt or what. At a certain point, you need another shooter on the floor that can actually make a shot. And I think Forsyth could do that. I know he could do that. He can't be much better or worse than what we got today. I mean, come on. But I mean, with 7 or 8 games left in the year, what are you supposed to do? You can't bring another guy in this late into the season, I guess, and burn his red shirt. But I don't even know what redshirting somebody does anymore for you. Like, what's the point in redshirting someone anymore? I truly wonder about that because in this day and age, guys don't stay. So why is Forsyth not playing a little more? I would love to know. So let's go to break. We'll come back and we'll talk a little more about this one. This episode, guys, is going to be brought to you by our friends at Indeed. Look, when it comes to Indeed, you guys know it. It's a good spot, right? Because hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. And if you want candidates who match you what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs is the move. And hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business moving forward. If you want candidates to match who you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs is that move, like we said. Instead of hoping the right person stumbled across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit your specific criteria, life skills, certifications, and location. If I were hiring, I wouldn't just want someone who can help. I'd want someone with the experience who can jump right in. That's what I like about Indeed. You can get specific and target exactly what you need. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed. According to Indeed data, that's worldwide. Listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to help you get your job premium status it deserves. And Indeed.com/podcast right now. So that's Indeed.com/podcast where terms and conditions apply. Are you hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed. All right, guys, we are back here in segment 2. And of course, we love to crack a do in segment 2. And that's what we're going to do really quick. Yeah, man, I really I had high hopes for this game. West Virginia does have bad luck. Hold on, I'll explain. Texas Tech had lost 3 straight coming into this game, but they got their best player back against us. And it just seems like maybe it's because it's confirmation bias, because every time I turn around, I find a situation like that when it's regarding us. Like, it seems like, why is it always us? Like, a team gets its best player back against us, or a guy that's never had a great performance has one against us, or Texas Tech's backup quarterback beats us 2 years in a row, right? Like, sometimes I feel like the karma, or whatever you want to call it, like the goodwill, like we must have used it up in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. I genuinely wonder that sometimes. Like, do we have somebody that's a West Virginia fan out there that is pure evil, that we're just never going to be good again because this sounds crazy, doesn't it? Is there somebody out there that has such bad karma, but they love West Virginia? Is it me? I don't know. I swear I get to be thinking the craziest stuff sometimes. Like the things that happen to us are indescribable sometimes, and it feels like our team is never going to get over the hump again. Um, I don't know, man. I just can't. It's attrition to the point to the like, I just it's almost like you can't see light at the end of the tunnel sometimes. Like when are we going to be good again? Like actually good, not like ranked once in a season like we were last year. I mean, like Texas Tech is this year. Like they're not amazing. Yeah, they might have lost 3 straight, but like they're going to be ranked most of the year. Um, that kind of thing. Like I'm not saying we should go to the Final Four, but like, you know, we go to the tournament and we're a 5 seed or something where we won 25 games. And hey, I can see and I can be a fan and I can see a path where we can actually might make it to the Final Four with this team. And like we can't even dream anymore, it seems like, man. So, anyways, I think the core problem in this game was obviously the 3-point avalanches. West Virginia gave up 6 first half threes before the game even settled. And 2 early Tech runs came immediately after West Virginia mini runs. You know what I mean? So that's not really shooting luck. That's the coverage discipline and the communication lag. I feel like, like this team had really bad rotations early in the game. Like you left Atwell open on at least 3 shots that I was totally shocked. It would be the same as leaving Honor Huff open on a shot. Atwell is that good of a shoot. Well, he's in that class. Like you just can't leave him open. I don't understand it, man. So, yeah, it's crazy for me, but I get it. Like it's, I'm just talking about this year's team, by the way. Like I totally understand, like going forward, there's going to be a chance that we get better, but you get to understand we're on our 4th coach in 4 years. And we lost for 7 years in a row in football now. So it's to the point where it feels like it may never happen again. That's really what it comes down to. Obviously on the foot, like there's a lot of optimism moving forward, obviously with our recruiting class we have coming in and all that. Like I said earlier, people that are questioning Ross Hodges' philosophy, I say you have to wait on that because there's no way to know whether it works or not until he gets the right players. And there's no way to get the right players all in one offseason. There's just no way. Next year, you've got Jaden Forsyth that'll hopefully be back. You hopefully got DJ Thomas back. You've hopefully hope I can speak here. Hopefully got Amir Jenkins back. And while those may not seem like groundbreaking pickups, like that's a pretty good bench, next year in regards to what we have this year, right? So, and maybe Huff's the starter next year. I'm not saying he won't be. He's got to get some offense, though. At times he shows it. The little mid-range floater he shot today is exactly what we need him to do. I don't know why he doesn't do it more, but I think he's 17 years old. I don't think a lot of people know that, unless he turned 18 recently. But Amir Jenkins was 17. He reclassified. His senior year of high school is supposed to be right now. So he needs all the grace in the world. Like I'm very proud of him for what he's done for the most part. I wish his offense would come along, and maybe it will this offseason. Hopefully we don't lose him. But yeah, obviously Amir's got a bright future if he sticks around. We'll see. I think my overall arching thoughts of this game are this, though. The first 10 minutes were really bad. Obviously, you had another slow start. You had the early turnover in the first 10 minutes. You had an early turnover, immediate Texas Tech 3. We never led. And you had a timeout early in the game, all within the first 6 minutes of the game. That set the tone for Texas Tech. This is a team. What did I tell you guys? My first key to the game the other day was this. What Texas Tech has lost 3 games in a row. You've got to set the tone early, and you've got to come out and beat them, right? Like, you can't let them come out and beat on you. Like, you have to come out and beat them early, in order to kind of, because I don't want to say they were going to give up, but I want to say that they were definitely looking for a reason to be rattled, let's say. And you didn't do that. You gave them all confidence in the world by the way you played early. And by the end of the first half, it was 22-18, and Texas Tech hit back-to-back threes. It went to 30-19. And then halftime, it was 39-27, So that's a 12-point halftime hole. And it's entirely built on the perimeter math because they made, 6 threes? That's what it was. Finally, in the second half, you cut it down 39-35. The crowd came alive. The momentum was there. This was where the game was going to be won or lost, and Texas called a timeout and made a 3. And then it was just right back to where it was again, So West Virginia, when it had its opportunities, did not close. And so I think West Virginia just have some habits that may not be breakable this year. And against a team like Texas Tech, which is capable of being in the Final Four, you can't do it. You can't. So at least, I will say this. I do think Texas Tech is in the caliber of like an Iowa State or a Houston, teams that have blown you out this year. You didn't at least you didn't get blown out in this game, and so that's some growth. Because when you played upper echelon teams before now, you had been blown out. So I do think this, and I know this sounds like roll your eyes a little bit, but I do think you can teach a little bit off this loss. You have to be able to teach still, even if it's late in the year. You have to tighten those early rotations up. And Hupp and Equalstaff, like when a team is dedicated to taking them away, like they were, I truly don't think, I don't think that Honor Huff was capable of shooting a 3 today. If they didn't want him to, it wasn't going to happen. And I mean that. Like they said they flat out said, we're just not going to let him shoot it for the 3rd, 4th game in a row. And that's what happened. So teams have decided against West Virginia to not let Honor Huff shoot it at all ever, not even once, because then that obviously blows it open. Once he sees it go in from, you can't let him get the first one. And, teams as disciplined as they are, like, we're going to come up against teams that are going to want to do that, but we're going to be able to get him open. Against a team like Texas Tech that has 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 that can guard a guard, there's no way you can do it. Because the hedge defender, if you don't know what the hedge defender is, whenever let's say you're guarding somebody that has the ball, and I know I'm not trying to talk down to anybody. I don't know how many people actually play ball or watch basketball, but whenever you're guarding somebody that has the ball, a lot of times somebody will come and set a screen on you, right? And then so there's the defenders. There's obviously 4 defenders that come into the mix there. Well, obviously, when you're trying to fight through a screen, it can be really difficult, right? But then there's also there's an extra part to this where I'm setting a screen. There's also a hedge guy, right? And so I was always taught you can chicken wing on a hedge, which is basically, it can be difficult. But for West Virginia today, the hedge guy was just straight up going with Honor Hupp. So, West Virginia's trying to screen off a defender, and they both just chase Huff because they know that the guy that's rolling it can't do anything for the most part, which is why you saw a lot of like Obi Oha is a guy that's he's an elite screener, but he's not a threat off the roll or off the the pick. So he's not off the pop or the roll, right? So, he's not a guy that can roll out, shoot a three like Trey Mitchell, and he's not a guy that you can roll and roll to the rim like, a couple other guys we have in our team like Chance Moore or Brendan Lorient would be a great example. So they're just chasing, then they use those two guys, and then Honor Hupp is 5'10", and he tries to pass out of the situation. He picks up his dribble, and he's 5'10", and you've got two guys that are 6'8" on him like this. It's a difficult situation, and try to shoot a three in that, and so. They're comfortable. They were comfortable with switching off. They didn't care because they would, they got guys 1 through 4, LaJuan Watts, or Devin Atwell or whoever can guard Honor Huff out there. And towards the end of the game, you saw Huff start taking it to the rim and get to the foul line. Why couldn't he have done that early in the game? I don't know. I guess early he's hunting that 3-point shot. Either way, it's really, really just like I said, if teams don't want Honor Huff to shoot the three, they can make that happen, but there's no pick your poison with us. That's the part of this team next year that we have to improve. Like, I know we looked for a guy in the portal that can shoot the three from the 4 or the 5 spot, and Lorient can do that, but he's not really a great screen guy, Like, I'm sure he can set screens, but like, you need a guy like we really don't have one on this team, but like, if you want to go back to Trey Mitchell was a decent example of a guy that can set a screen, roll off. You can send him to the rim or you can send him to three. We don't have that on this team, and that's really hurt us. Like if we could have kept any number of guys that left over the last couple of years, it would have been a big help, but we're stuck, man. And Amani Hansberry obviously is averaging, I think, what they say, 15 or 16 a game right now at Virginia Tech, having an amazing year. So he'll probably get a huge, huge amount of money next year. All right, we'll go to break one more time and put a bow on this one. We'll be right back. And this episode is going to be brought to you by our friends from Game Time. And with Game Time, y'all, it's a simple thing with them too. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, well, that's the part that always hasn't been so simple. That's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast, without the hassle, because it puts the advantage back where it belongs with the fans. I pulled up Game Time's app, picked an incoming game, an NBA game, and had tickets locked within minutes. And there are great last-minute options, too, with NBA tickets showing up at solid prices all over the app. Everything feels quick, intuitive, and stress-free from start to finish. You, too, can take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off there on your first purchase. That's the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today, and remember this. It's gametime.co.com. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are amazing as always, and I know it's a negative kind of take on the game. I don't know what else to really say. West Virginia gets, let's see, it's going to be tough, man. You've got 6 days off. Then you play UCF next, who has been, one of the better teams in the league over the last couple of weeks. Let's see what they're doing here. Are they playing right now? I don't know. They could be, I suppose. They're 17-5 right now, which is crazy. They're playing Cincinnati right now. So let's see. Oh my God. They're getting absolutely destroyed by Cincinnati right now. I'm shocked. 81-59. Good Lord. That's a game we need to play then. Maybe we can do something like that. If Cincinnati can score 81 on them, there's no way we should be scared of them. we're very similar to Cincinnati. So maybe we can do something similar. We'll see. We'll see. Now my hopes are up for that game. If Cincinnati can beat them 81-59, we better be able to do it. So we'll see, man. Matchups, like I say all the time in the Big 12, styles make fights. Today was a bad matchup for us because they have bigs that can score and an elite guard like they have that can do either, get to the rim, assists, and shoot threes. And we're kind of what we are. We've got to get Honor Huff or Eagle Staff open, or we've got to get Lorian involved. But it's rough, man. So we'll see what happens, guys. But I'm going to jump out of here. I appreciate y'all for being here. Like I said, thanks for making us your first listen today. I'll be back in a bit with some football talk. I got a couple things we can talk about, specifically some guys that are looking at West Virginia, a couple 4-star players, different things like that. So maybe we'll talk some football, or maybe I'll take Sunday off. I don't know. After days like today, after games like today, it's like, I don't know, maybe so. Yeah, but UCF beat Texas Tech when they were without their best player. So it's like, to me, it's not the same. Like that's what I was saying earlier. Of course, we get Texas Tech when they're at full strength. Like, not only did they have the guy that came in, that came from VCU that was at the rim blocking us, but they also got Christian Anderson back, who is, you can make a case, is one of the 2 or 3 best players in the league. So 19.5 points a game, elite assist guy, and he absolutely cooked us early in the game. So yeah, I mean, that's our luck. He don't play, we probably could win this game. So but I'd say that's a huge reason why teams beat Texas Tech. That'd be like taking away, I don't know. We don't really have one player that's that important, but it'd be like taking Javon Small away last year from West Virginia. That'd have been similar to that, right? Like, that's what the Christian Anderson is to Texas Tech, is similar to Javon. 19.5 points a game, like 6 assists a game. Like, he's very good. So he's only going to get better. You could tell he was still not 100% today. All right, y'all. Like I said, Locked On Everyday Club. Make sure you're checking that out. If you haven't done it, I'm asking you to do it. As your friend, if you don't mind. I'll put the link in the chat right now. All I'm asking is that you just check it out. Let me know, in the comments if it's something that you're interested in. I would like to get a community started on there. I know I have a Discord server that a lot of you guys are in, and maybe that's why you're not doing it. But if Locked On is asking me to promote something, I'm going to do it and put my own personal to the side to do that. So, I would like for you guys to at least check out the Locked On Podcast Everyday Club, because there's a lot of benefits to it. I think we can both gain from it. And I want to be one of the people that has people in that, right? Like, I want to get people signed up for that. And maybe I need to promote it more on social media too. I don't know, and that's why I need to go. I've got a guy that's on me. I've got somebody that's going to intern for me, and I need to get that rolling. So maybe I need to do that. All right. See you guys in a bit back here on the channel. We'll give some football talk. Yeah, probably in about an hour or two. I'll see you then. Q Country Roads.